The Monte Cristo Homestead, Australia's most haunted house. Perched on a hill overlooking the sleepy town of Junee in New South Wales, Australia, stands a grand, Victorian-era mansion that would not look out of place in a gothic horror novel. Its name is the Monte Cristo Homestead, and it is widely regarded as the most haunted house in all of Australia. Behind its elegant facade of wrought iron balconies, grand staircases, and sprawling gardens lies a chilling history filled with tragedy, death, and unspeakable horrors. Over the years, the homestead has become infamous for the mysterious and violent deaths that occurred within its walls, and it is said that the restless spirits of those who died still haunt the house, unable to find peace. The Monte Cristo Homestead was built in 1884 by Christopher William Crawley, a wealthy and ambitious farmer who, along with his wife Elizabeth Crawley, sought to create a grand home befitting their rising social status. The Crawleys were pillars of the community, known for their wealth and influence, and the homestead quickly became a symbol of their success. However, beneath the Crawleys' veneer of respectability, dark events unfolded within the house, events that left a permanent stain on the property, forever linking it to death and despair. The first tragedy to befall the Crawley family occurred shortly after the house was completed. A young maid who worked at the homestead fell to her death from the balcony under mysterious circumstances. Some believe that she was pushed by an unseen force, while others suspect she took her own life. The exact details remain unknown, but her death marked the beginning of a series of bizarre and unsettling events that would plague the homestead for decades to come. As the years passed, more strange and tragic incidents occurred at Monte Cristo. A stable boy was burned to death in the homestead stables after being trapped inside during a mysterious fire. The cause of the fire was never determined, and many believe that his ghost still haunts the property, with visitors claiming to hear the faint crackling of flames and the sound of a boy's agonized screams echoing through the night. One of the most infamous stories associated with the homestead is that of Harold Steele, the mentally disabled son of one of the Crawleys' maids. Harold was kept chained in the homestead's caretaker's cottage for over 30 years, confined to a small, dark room where he was treated more like an animal than a human being. His only contact with the outside world came from the occasional visits of the caretakers who brought him food. Harold's life was one of unimaginable suffering, and when he finally died, his spirit was said to remain trapped in the room where he had been imprisoned for most of his life. Today, visitors to the homestead often report feeling a heavy, oppressive presence in the caretaker's cottage, as if Harold's spirit is still lingering there, a prisoner even in death. The homestead's tragic history was further compounded by the mysterious death of a young girl who was said to have been pushed down the stairs by an unseen force. According to legend, the girl had been playing on the staircase when she suddenly screamed and fell, tumbling to her death. Some believe that she was pushed by one of the restless spirits that haunt the house, while others think that she may have been the victim of some terrible accident. Whatever the cause, her death left a lasting impression on the house, and many visitors claim to hear the sound of her laughter or see her ghostly figure running up and down the staircase late at night. But perhaps the most terrifying spirit associated with the Monte Cristo homestead is that of Elizabeth Crawley herself. Elizabeth was known as a stern and deeply religious woman who ruled her household with an iron fist. After the death of her husband Christopher in 1910, Elizabeth became a recluse, rarely leaving the house and confining herself to the homestead's upper rooms. She was said to have worn black mourning clothes for the rest of her life, and her presence was so dominating that even after her death, it is said that she never truly left the house. Visitors to the homestead have reported seeing Elizabeth Crawley's ghost, dressed in black, wandering the upper floors of the house. Some have claimed to see her standing at the window, gazing out at the grounds with a forlorn expression. Others have reported feeling a sudden drop in temperature when they enter her former bedroom, as if her icy presence still lingers there. One of the most unsettling experiences comes from those who have tried to spend the night in the house, with many reporting the sensation of being watched or feeling an invisible force pressing down on their chest as they try to sleep, an experience often attributed to Elizabeth's ghost, who is said to be deeply possessive of the house and resentful of anyone who dares to intrude. The homestead's dining room is another area said to be haunted by the Crawley family. Some visitors have reported hearing the sound of clinking silverware and faint murmurs, as if a ghostly dinner party is still being held by the spirits of the past. Others have claimed to see shadowy figures sitting at the table, their faces obscured by darkness, as they reenact the routines of their lives over and over again. One of the most chilling ghost stories from Monte Cristo involves the murder of a caretaker in the 1960s. The caretaker was shot and killed by a young man who had become obsessed with the homestead, believing it was calling out to him. After the murder, the caretaker's wife reportedly fled the homestead in terror, never to return. The caretaker's bloodstains were said to have seeped into the floorboards, and to this day, some visitors claim that the ghost of the murdered caretaker can be seen patrolling the grounds at night, his presence marked by the sudden appearance of cold drafts and the unmistakable feeling of being watched. The Monte Cristo Homestead has also attracted the attention of numerous paranormal investigators over the years. Many have captured strange phenomena on camera, including eerie orbs of light, inexplicable shadows, and ghostly apparitions. Some have even recorded EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, that seem to capture the voices of the spirits still residing in the house. In one particularly famous EVP recording, a voice can be heard saying, "Leave now," followed by the sound of footsteps rushing down the hallway, despite the fact that no one was in the house at the time. Despite its terrifying reputation, the Monte Cristo Homestead continues to draw visitors from all over the world. Some come seeking answers to the mysteries that surround the house, while others come in search of a thrill, hoping to experience the paranormal activity that has made the homestead so infamous. The current owners of the homestead, who live on the property, have embraced its haunted history, offering ghost tours and overnight stays for those brave enough to confront the spirits of Monte Cristo. The homestead itself remains a hauntingly beautiful relic of the past, its Victorian architecture a stark contrast to the dark and tragic events that occurred within its walls. The rooms, filled with antique furniture and eerie portraits, seem frozen in time, as if the house itself is waiting for something, or someone, to return. The silence that pervades the house is often punctuated by the creaking of floorboards, the faint rustling of curtains, or the inexplicable sound of footsteps echoing through empty hallways. For those who dare to spend the night at the Monte Cristo Homestead, the experience is one they will never forget. The air inside the house feels thick and heavy, as though it is charged with an otherworldly energy. The shadows seem to shift and move on their own, and the feeling of being watched is almost impossible to shake. Some visitors leave the homestead with stories of ghostly encounters, while others leave with a lingering sense of unease, as though they have stepped into a place where the line between the living and the dead is perilously thin. Today, the Monte Cristo Homestead stands as both a testament to the opulence of Australia's colonial past and a chilling reminder of the tragedies that unfolded within its walls. The spirits of those who died, whether through violence, neglect, or sorrow, seem to remain trapped in the house, forever reliving their final moments. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, there is no denying that the Monte Cristo Homestead holds a dark and unsettling place in Australia's haunted history. For those who visit, the homestead offers a glimpse into a world where history and the supernatural intertwine, where the past refuses to rest, and where the spirits of the dead continue to haunt the living.